You guys, the day has come. My fanship of Taylor Swift and tarot are colliding. I have been reading tarot for over a decade, and I have been a fan of Taylor Swift for almost 2 decades. So I started becoming a fan of hers back in 2006 when she released a little single called Tim McGraw. I found her on MySpace, of all places, and then searched her up on YouTube, and the rest is history. So I followed her through every era. And so when I saw that there was an unofficial Eras Tarot, I couldn't help but grab it. So from my understanding, this tarot deck, it spans all of her eras, and for every tarot card they choose a corresponding song that kind of embodies the message of the card. So I'm really excited to dive in to give the Eras Tarot a review. This is the box right here, and one thing I do have to say immediately off the back, the packaging is very intentful and very well done. So within the box itself, they have another tuck box that's really quite nice. And the cardstock is quite good. That's the backing. And it's not too flimsy, but it's not too hard. It was a little bit of a difficult shuffle first try, I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to get all set up here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to go through all of the Major Arcana cards, the songs that they chose for each card, and what my choices would be, including a lyric and a little bit of reasoning as to why I chose each song for each card. Now, I did choose a song for every card in the deck, and spoiler, they don't choose specific songs for the court cards for some reason, but I went upon myself to do so. So for every card in the deck, I have chosen a Taylor Swift song and a lyric that represents that tarot card, and I'm putting that list in my blog along with my blog post. So I'm going to tag the blog in the caption of this video. But for today's purposes, I really don't think you want an hour-long video of me reviewing this deck and giving you an explanation for 78 cards, because that would be obscene. And this is not going to be a flip through. I'm not going to show you the art for all 78 cards. So let's get into it. This is going to be fun. All right, we are all set up and we are ready to go. And I just want to preface this all by saying, just because I'm making different song choices for a lot of the cards, I'm not gonna lie, for a lot of the cards I chose different songs. It's just because tarot and music are so subjective. As a tarot reader, we all kind of interpret cards a little bit differently. Some take more of the literal aspects, some take more of the subtle nuance aspects. So me choosing different songs than what the creator chose is not me hating on their decision to choose those songs, because how they read tarot, these songs were the choice for them. It's completely subjective. It's their own piece of art, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm knocking the creator by choosing a lot of different songs, because this is my personal relationship to Taylor Swift's music and my personal relationship to tarot. So I'm just sharing kind of my perspective and my opinion. I am glad a creator went out of their way to make this deck, and I'm going to enjoy using it. So I just wanted to preface that because I am choosing a lot of different songs. We have the first card of the Major Arcana, and that is the Fool card. It's about new beginnings, diving right in, seeing where life takes you. Now, they chose the song Betty, and I can see why they chose this song, because it's about making mistakes, trying again, a new start at love, teenagehood, not sure where you're going in life. And so Betty does fit the theme of the Fool card. However, I couldn't resist, because the quintessential Fool card song, in my opinion, is a little song called Fearless. Now, the lyric that really encapsulates it for me is, "In a storm, in my best dress, fearless." It's about diving in, seeing where it takes you, and not sure where it's gonna lead, but knowing you want to anyways. So that is why for the Fool card, I would choose the song Fearless. Next up, we have the Magician. So on the Fool's journey, he approaches the Magician. Now the Magician is about manifestation, honing of skills, willpower. So they chose the song Prophecy. And for the title alone, it's an amazing fit. But if you're going into the actual meaning of the songs and the lyricism, it's not quite. So in the Prophecy, she is quite literally begging on her knees, asking some power outside of herself to change her fate. But the thing about the Magician is they hone their own skills to change their own fate. So the song I chose for the Magician is The Mastermind. What if I told you none of this was accidental and the first night that you saw me, nothing was going to stop me? That is Magician energy. Next, we have the High Priestess. Inner knowing, intuition, mysticism, mystery. She understands what's happening beyond what we see on the surface. Now, they chose the song We Are Never Getting Back Together. And quite frankly, I really don't like this choice for the High Priestess, especially because it's a card I hold dear. We Are Never Getting Back Together is about choosing not to get back together with somebody because they treated you terribly. It doesn't take a detective or a mystic or a psychic or somebody with deep intuition to recognize that somebody treated them terribly and therefore they don't want to get back together with them. So that is why I wouldn't have chosen this song for this card. If I were to choose any song that especially goes into the mysticism and the magic of intuition, it would be the song Cardigan. I knew you'd linger like a tattoo kiss. I knew you'd haunt all my what ifs. The smell of smoke would hang around this long, 'cause I knew everything when I was young. And when you are young, they assume you know nothing. She also says, I knew you'd come back to me. This speaks to kind of that magical mysticism of when you just kind of know something's going to happen. And so that is why for the High Priestess, I would choose the song Cardigan. Next, we have the Empress. Nurturement, fertility, creation, life, motherhood. And for this card, they chose the song The Best Day. And I can't help but absolutely agree. Out of her discography, this one really showcases a bond between mother and child and the nurturing and true love and how that helps her grow. So she's talking about her relationship with her mother throughout the years and how her mother's love for her helped her blossom and grow into the person she is. It is truly fitting for this card. Next, we have the father of the Major Arcana, which is the Emperor, also the Aries in the zodiac. Now, the Emperor is an authority, a leader, someone who's direct, who utilizes discipline and willpower to get to where he wants. In the reversal, he can be controlling, unfeeling, and a little bit too direct. So they chose the song Tolerate It for the Emperor, and I think that Tolerate It fits it in the reversal quite perfectly. But in the upright, it's a little more nuanced than that. In the song Tolerate It, she's singing about wanting the love of the man she's with and all of the efforts she's going through to make him happy, and none of it is making him happy to be with her. She feels like he just tolerates her. In the reversal, that's kind of a perfect fit. But in the upright, I would choose one a little bit different. The song that I would choose for the Emperor is The Man. Because one, it speaks to the patriarchy. It speaks to the aspects that feel unfair towards women. But two, it also speaks to that I'd be an alpha type, that I'd be a boss, that I'd be the man. All of these attributes that we admire in the Emperor are showcased in the song and in the lyrics. And it also showcases that if a woman has those same attributes, it's not seen the same. So I feel like it truly does fit the Emperor. Next, we have the Hierophant. And for this card, they chose the song Clara Bow. And I was humming and hawing going through her discography trying to find a song better suited for this card than Clara Bow. and I couldn't. This is a fitting card. It's about legacy. It's about passing the torch. It's about not so much mentorship, but a little bit. And the only aspect that's not really quite present in Clairbow is more of the spirituality of the Hierophant. So for this card, it was a little bit of a difficult choice, but Clairbow is a true fit for the Hierophant. Next, we have the Lovers, also the Gemini in the zodiac like myself. Now, the Lovers is about choice. It's about duality. It's about alignment and partnership and love. Now, when I'm doing readings, I don't usually focus on just the Lovers aspects of the Lovers. But going through her discography, Love Story is a right fit because it does speak to the romanticism and the union between these two people in the song, but also the difficult choices that it takes to get there. They choose to love each other despite all odds. In the lyrics, she goes, "Don't be afraid, we'll make it out of this mess. It's a love story, baby, just say yes." It's about that choice of choosing that person and despite all odds saying yes. So for that, the Lovers card, Love Story is a nice fit. Next, we have the Chariot. Willpower, discipline, going to where you want to go, balancing opposing forces. Now, they chose the song Blank Space due to the jet-setting aspects, the travel that tends to be associated with the Chariot because they are going somewhere. So sometimes the card, the Chariot, is quite literally travel. So they kind of took that application of the song Blank Space for the Chariot card, as well as the imagery that's showcased in the music video for the artwork. Now, if I were to choose a true Chariot card song from Taylor Swift's discography, it would have to be Shake It Off. And my reasoning for this is Can't Stop Moving. Wait, no. I am so tired. She goes, "But I keep cruising, can't stop, won't stop moving." And that is about knowing where you want to go and doing it regardless. The aspects of the Chariot where you're balancing opposing forces. The haters are going to hate, the players are going to play, but I'm just going to shake. Because that's what she's deciding to do. She's utilizing her inner power and her willpower to do what she's going to do and have fun doing it. Which to me is the Chariot. She's going to get to where she's going regardless of what all these people are saying, which is that willpower and that determination showcased in the Chariot. So Shake It Off is the true Chariot song in my opinion. So speaking of not a different song chosen, this for the Justice card, which is about balancing of the scales, justice being served. They chose the song Karma, and I couldn't disagree. It is the perfect song for the Justice card. Karma is going to track you down step by step from town to town. That is about the other shoe dropping. That is about karma coming around. And that is the Justice card. It's about the scales being balanced. So part of the aspect of justice is doing the right thing morally within your own actions and trusting that the scales are going to balance. Or it's about righting a wrong, balancing those scales. So she's saying, I keep my side of the street clean. You wouldn't know what I mean. Meaning that justice is gonna work for her in that aspect, and it's gonna come around on people who don't act out of good moral judgment. So the Karma song for justice is absolutely perfect. Next, we have the Hermit. So this is about contemplation, seeking the wisdom within the self, stepping away from outside influence, spending some time on your own. And for this, they chose the song Antihero. And I can understand why, because Antihero is very self-reflective. She's also feeling isolated by how big of a star she is, and like she can't spend time with regular people. But if I were to choose what the Hermit would be for me, out of feeling alone and that kind of longing to get away from the busy influence of the people around you, I would choose the song The Lakes. Take me to the lakes where all the poets went to die. I don't belong, and my beloved, neither do you. Those Windermere peaks look like a perfect place to cry. In the original depiction of the Hermit, he's on a cliffside with a light. So even when they're saying the Windermere peaks look like a perfect place to cry, it really speaks to like going off on a journey and going on a walk within the self. She also says, I want aurora and sad prose. I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet because I haven't moved in years. That speaks to that isolation and really wanting to be alone and to discover what you really want within yourself. It's like the longing behind needing to be introspective and needing to spend some time by yourself. So that's why I would choose the lakes for the Hermit. Okay. Next, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is about fate, destiny, cycles, divine timing, good and bad luck. For this card, they chose the song Invisible String, and I cannot help but agree. There's one line particular, isn't it just so pretty to think, all along there was some invisible string tying you to me. Meaning that through all the twists and turns in my life and all of the choices and all of the good luck and all of the bad luck, who knew that all of those things were to put me in the right place at the right time to meet you? That is, in essence, the Wheel of Fortune. Next, we have the Strength card. This is about quiet courage, perseverance through vulnerability, and courage through vulnerability. So for the Strength card, they chose the song Ivy. I don't understand this quite at all. And this is a song that is about, quietly minding the fact that you have a love affair with someone else that you truly want to be with, while you kind of white knuckle it with your husband that you don't have passionate love for. It's about the opposite of bravery, in my opinion, because she's continuing on with this love affair, but she's not being honest with her partner or herself, and she's not taking the courage to do what she needs to do. So I don't really understand the choice of Ivy. Maybe somebody else can enlighten me on that choice. But if I were to choose a song for the Strength card, I would choose the song Peace. Because would it be enough if I could never give you peace? It's honest. It takes a lot of strength to come forward with that vulnerability. There's also a line where she says, all of these people think love's for show, but I would die for you in secret. That secret honor, that secret strength, that secret courage below the surface, to be so vulnerable and to love somebody so openly, not knowing if it's going to be enough, to me is the Strength card. Next, we have the Hangman. This is about surrender, letting go, change of perspective. They chose the song But Daddy, I Love Him. And there is a shift of perspective towards the end of the song. And this is also about standing up for her own convictions, what she wants, despite other people wanting to hang her for it, And I understand why they chose this song, but I would once again choose a different song. And the song that I would choose is This Is Me Trying, because it speaks more to the vulnerability and the martyrdom of the hanged man and the surrender and fully letting go of external perception, knowing what you need to do to reach an enlightened state in your own life. She goes, I just want you to know that this is me trying. And it's about a person who's struggled through addictions and is finally getting clean. And their efforts might not seem like enough from the outside perspective. They might feel stuck in one place. But they're saying, I just want you to know that this is me trying. I'm surrendering to this. I'm letting go. I'm doing what I have to do. So for the Hanged Man, I would choose This Is Me Trying. Next, we have arguably the most feared card in all of the Major Arcana. And that is the Death card. But death is not quite literally just about death. It's about the transformation and the rebirth that takes shape. So they chose the song Begin Again. And this is honestly quite fitting, quite a literal, natural, fitting take. Because in the song Begin Again, it's about a connection and a love starting over, having a rebirth, going through a transformation. So it can very easily be applied. But I would go more into the philosophical, deeper, reflective place that she sings about in the song Happiness. There was happiness, there'll be happiness after you, but there was happiness because of you. Both of these things can be true. There was happiness, and I haven't met the new me yet. It's about the acceptance of both things, the letting go of what was. It is quite literally going through the process of the death, the transformation that comes, and the rebirth out of it. She's admitting that this relationship is over, dead, but that who she's becoming is somebody entirely new. I haven't met the new me yet. It feels like a really deep, philosophical, poetic representation of the Death card. So for that, I would choose the song Happiness. Next, we have Temperance. And for this, they chose You Need to Calm Down. And I think this is for the literal interpretation of the title of the song, because it's about tempering yourself. You need to calm down. And temperance is about finding a state of flow, being okay with the middle ground, having acceptance and grace, and being resilient. So for me, referring to my notes here, I chose the song State of Grace, and this is from the album Red, because I feel like it kind of speaks to the excitement, but also tempering and trying to create purpose through this relationship. So she goes, this is a state of grace. This is a worthwhile fight. Love is a ruthless game unless you play it good and right. So it's not denying that these things are hard to balance. These things can be ruthless, but within that, this love is a state of grace, which really feels like the embodiment of the Temperance card. So for Temperance, I would choose the song State of Grace. Next, we have the Devil, another feared card. It's about temptation, it's about vices, it's about substance abuse, it's about bad influences, it's about making poor decisions. They chose the song Dear John, and I can see it from a quite literal standpoint if you're applying the John character as the devil in the situation. But what I don't love about choosing the song Dear John is, in her perspective in that moment, she's singing entirely from a victim mentality, that she just couldn't help but fall into his care and that he tricked her. But the more nuanced aspect of the Devil card is that we make these decisions. And in order to break the chains and to break free from the devil's grip, we have to be honest with ourselves in our part of things. So that's why I would choose the song I Knew You Were Trouble, because she's quite literally saying, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Shame on me now. But I couldn't help myself. You tempted me to choose you anyways and to put myself into this reckless place. That is very much the devil's influence, is like, oh, but I can't help myself. It's easier to stay. You're not bound. Nobody's keeping you there, but you're choosing to be there, and you know it's a poor decision, and you're doing it anyways. So one lyric specifically, she goes, because I knew you were trouble when you walked in, so shame on me now. Flew me to places I'd never been till you put me down. It's like suddenly you have the reflection when everything goes wrong. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That is very reflective of the devil. So for the Devil card, I would choose I Knew You Were Trouble. Next, we have the Tower. And they chose the song All Too Well. And honestly, All Too Well is kind of a perfect choice. It really is a perfect choice. And yet I am oppositional. I have to choose my own choice. And that would be My Tears Ricochet. And for that, it's because behind My Tears Ricochet, it's about the foundation of everything she built, her entire life's work being ripped away from her and stolen from her. It is about her discography and how she didn't have ownership of it for so long and the person behind taking it away from her. The Tower is about that upheaval, that sudden destruction, that thing that hits where it's like everything's falling apart and the foundation that we built upon is suddenly gone, which feels like her losing her discography. Some lyrics she says in My Tears Ricochet are, "And if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too." She also says, "You wear the same jewels I gave you as you bury me. I can go anywhere I want, just not home." That feels like such a Tower moment. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace. In the Tower, you are forced to jump ship and leave the wreckage behind. My Tears Ricochet feels like such an embodiment of the Tower card. And I'm not disputing that All Too Well is also a really perfect fitting because it's about the disillusionment and the crumbling of the foundation of a relationship that she thought was going to be it for her, and it ended up not being it. So All Too Well really is a great fitting, but I couldn't help but pick My Tears Ricochet because it feels really viscerally hitting for the Tower card. Next, we have the Star. Hope, renewal, optimism, wishing upon a star. And for this one, they chose the song The One. And this is a really simple, like lovely interpretation of the Star card. And it would have been fun if you had been the one throwing pennies in the pool. You know, it does really fit kind of the hopeful, optimistic, whimsical aspects of the Star. But once again, I have to pick my own that I feel like is really like the most hard-hitting, fitting song. So for the Star, I chose the song You're on Your Own, Kid. And that's because everything you lose is a step you take. So make the friendship bracelets, take the moment and taste it. You've got no reason to be afraid. You're on your own, kid. Because it's about that resilience, that renewal, that cleansing that comes through when we realize we have ourselves, we have our own hopes, we have our own dreams. It's about hanging in there. You're on your own, kid, but you've got this. And so that's what the hope that's in the Star feels like for me, which is the song You're on Your Own, Kid, which is kind of like a song to herself. So that's why for the Star, I would choose You're on Your Own, Kid. Next, we have the Moon. It's about illusions, the subconscious, intuition. And for this, they chose the song Would've, Could've, Should've. And this really applies to kind of the retroactive aspects of realizing something wasn't what you thought it was, and that it was an illusion, and that your intuition maybe should have known better. It's more of a secondhand reflective moon card, in my opinion. And I wanted to choose a little bit of a different take. I wanted to go into a little bit more of the mysticism around the moon and go with the song Willow. Because for one, it feels like moon magic, the Willow song. But she goes, "And if this was an open shut case, I never would have known from that look on your face, lost in your current like a priceless wine." That feels like illusion, like I never would have known from the look on your face. She also goes, "The more that you say, the less I know. The more that you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I follow." The more you say, the less I know feels so moon. It feels like such a subconscious illusion. And she also goes, "Every bait and switch was a work of art." Willow just feels like the moon card. Listen to that song and look at a traditional moon card from a Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck and don't tell me that the Willow doesn't just feel like the moon card. So for mine, it's a little bit more intangible. It's a little bit about that mystical aspects of the moon, but I would choose the song Willow. Next, we have the Sun, and because I don't have the same parameters and the same rules as the creator did, I'm choosing a song from her new album, which is The Life of a Showgirl. So they chose the song Gorgeous, and this feels like a kind of pretty shallow interpretation of the Sun card. It's like, you're so gorgeous, I can't say anything to your face, like you just have this joy from you, you're so gorgeous. And I would have chosen from her old discography Stay Beautiful, because that is like that innocence, that joy. Stay Beautiful is such a cute song. So I would have chosen Stay Beautiful if I had to stick to the same eras that this creator had to. But for purity and like the best choice ever, Opalite. Opalite from Life of a Showgirl is the Sun. She sings, "Oh, my Lord, never made no one like you before. You had to make your own sunshine, but now the sky is opalite." Oh my God, it sounds terrible when I say it. Oh, my Lord, never made no one like you before. You had to make your own sunshine, but now the sky is opalite. Whoa, the joy. And also part of the Sun is making your own sunshine. It's seeing the light in things, seeing the things that you love that bring you joy, and letting that sunshine come from within. So Opalite is like such a quintessential Sun card song. Next we have Judgement. And for Judgement, they chose the song The Great War. And I can see how this would be a fit, you know, I could see it. It's because it's about admitting your fault in things, and in the Great War, it's that difficult aspect of a relationship where you have to admit your wrongs, but that you would fight for it. And the Judgment card is about that reckoning, coming to terms with what you've done, coming to terms and letting it out into the light, and the liberation that comes from that. So with that awakening, I would choose Anti-Hero, because she's being so self-reflective and so honest with herself in Anti-Hero. She says, "It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me." Like, she's fully confessing. She's liberating and having that reflection and reckoning and self-awareness. She goes, "I stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror." Talk about honest. She also says, "Did you hear my covert narcissism I disguised as altruism?" She is not being kind to herself, but she's doing it to admit her faults, to admit where she could do better, and that feels like the Judgment card to me. So for that, I would choose Anti-Hero. And last in the Major Arcana, but not the least, we have the World. This is about completion of cycle. This is about success, fulfillment, and harmony with the world. And so for this, they chose the song Tim McGraw, which feels like a very like cutesy, romanticized version of the world, but I don't really understand how it really does truly apply to the world. And I was a little bit puzzled with some of these choices. I'm not going to be like lie, but that is the subjective opinion of the creator, and how they interpret tarot is probably very different than I do, and from the next person. This is a very difficult task, choosing both music and tarot, which are both subjective things, and putting them together. So for the World, I would choose Long Live, because that's like that success moment. That's everything coming together. It's about legacy. It's about the continuation. She says, "It was the end of a decade, but the start of an age." That is like those cycles that happen. I said, "Remember this feeling?" I passed the pictures around of all the years that we stood there on the sidelines wishing for right now. That's the World. Everything finally coming together. Like, think of all the things you've done in your life, and how who you were 10 years ago would be so happy with where you are right now. So that is why Long Live feels like the World to me. It feels like a completion of a cycle. It feels like a continuation of an age and a story. And it really embodies all of her eras so beautifully. That's why people cried when this song came on at the Eras Tour, because it really just encapsulates this journey for her and the continuation of it, which is the World. So for the Eras Tarot, for the World card, I would choose Long Live. And I did choose every single one of the cards in the deck, including the corpse cards, which the creator didn't go so far as to do. So I picked an individual song for every single card in the deck, and it's going to be featured in my blog. If enough people see this and you really want me to go through the rest, I can, but this video is already getting nauseatingly long. I have all the notes here from all the songs too. I just realized I couldn't quite film it all. One thing I want to say, that this deck is beautifully created, beautifully done, and the artwork is fantastic. The thought put into it is really there. You can see it in the presentation alone. And they did make thoughtful choices, despite me changing 90% of them of what I would do. Once again, that is just me. That is just my opinion. And I am planning to use this deck a lot more. I would love to do some like kind of tarot Taylor influenced little readings, maybe shuffling, picking a song and playing it in the background and taking a message from it, maybe like a specific lyric as something we can manifest forward or something like that. I don't know. Let me know what you'd like me to do next, but this was the Eras Tarot. Overall, if you're a Taylor Swift fan and you're a tarot reader, this is a lovely deck, and I will be working with it more.